Good morning. Hope you're having a great weekend. It is Sunday, December 1st. And let me get the time here. 4:46 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Local time here in El Centro, California, or Calexico or Heber. It's all right around in the same area. So what's going on with me? Well, I took a load from Seattle down here to this area to Heber, Kent, Washington to Heber. I picked that load up Wednesday around 2 p.m. This second here, trying to get my belt situated. Wednesday around 2 p.m. and I delivered it Saturday morning at like 3 or 4 a.m. And my plan was to go over to a Pilot Flying J truck stop and hang out there until I got my next load. But whenever I drove by that truck stop, the parking lot was full. So I looked for another place to park and I found this mom and pop truck stop. It's called like Super Truck Stop or something like that. And it is an old rundown mom and pop truck stop that's not open 24 hours a day. It has a partially paved, partially dirt lot. And yeah, I'm nosed into a parking spot. Nosing in is awesome, but it's really risky because backing out of a nosed in spot is really dangerous. I only nose in whenever it's a straight back out because all your maneuverability is in the front of the truck and you can't see anything when you're backing out when you're nosed in. So why am I leaving this truck stop? Well, there are a couple of reasons I'm leaving this truck stop. Head west toward Wake Avenue. One is because it is really dusty. Every time somebody drives around in the parking lot, it just creates a huge cloud of dust. And I have my windows open so I don't have to run the air conditioner. So it's just, my truck is constantly full of dust. And then it just stinks so bad. Right there's a cattle hauler. I think that's why I'm leaving right there is that cattle hauler. Like the parking lot in general just stinks. I think people are pooping around the edges of the parking lot or something. But last night, oh my goodness. And I'm not going really slow to keep from going on to the drive line. I'm going really slow because this is a really rough parking lot. There are some big holes. So yeah, it stinks out here normally. But then last night, oh my goodness, it was like a combination of cow crap and human crap. It smelled like cow crap with a sewer running across it. It's a smell that's so strong it woke me up and I couldn't go back to sleep. And I think what it is that cattle hauler came in last night and just took the stink here up to another level. Like if I wanted to use the restroom at night, I don't think that's possible because they're closed. And all the restaurants and everything around here are closed. I don't know where I would go use the restroom. Turn left onto Wake Avenue. So I'm gonna go over to the Pilot Flying J truck stop and see if I can get a spot there. It's one of those tiny Pilot Flying J's that only has like 20 spots, and the fuel haulers use 4 or 5 of the spots. So there's only like 15 spots available, and there's probably a couple of locals camped out in some of the spots. So there might only be like 5 spots that are actually available. Oh my goodness, this is rough. Just a second here. This is just some big holes we're driving through. So we're relocating. I'm hoping that I can get a spot at the Pilot Flying J. If not, there's a Love's truck stop that has a huge parking lot not too much further down the road. But yeah, the stink around this area is so bad. I can't sleep. It smells so bad. And then the dust in here, it just I don't know how to describe it. Like my eyes and my nose and my throat are getting so much dust in them that I'm constantly rubbing my eyes to get the dust out of them, and I taste dirt in my mouth and my nose. I'm just constantly blowing my nose, and it's just full of like dirt, and dust, and stuff. I don't think this is good for my health. So we spent one day at that truck stop, and that's just not working out for me. So we're going to relocate. It's only 20 miles away. This is a really bad time to be looking for a parking spot. It's Sunday at the end of a holiday weekend. So there's a lot of locals on home time, and there are a lot of people that are like hanging out at the truck stop waiting for their delivery appointment because the businesses are all closed until Monday. So I'm thinking it's going to be unlikely that I get a spot at the Pilot Flying J. The only reason I really want a spot at the Pilot Flying J is because of a shower credit. I have a shower credit at the Pilot Flying J. I'm not going to get fuel at this Pilot Flying J because it's crazy expensive. My discount at this particular Pilot Flying J is terrible. It's only like a 25-cent per gallon discount. So my price at the pump is like $3.52 a gallon. My price at places where I get good discounts is like around 2.97 a gallon. Now that's the raw price for fuel. That's after all discounts, and that's also not including fuel tax. I just look at raw fuel cost without taxes or anything. That's how I judge where I fuel up, because the amount of fuel tax that I pay at the pump is meaningless. The fuel taxes that I pay are based off the miles driven in each state. So the fuel taxes that I pay at the pump are basically just like prepaying taxes. It's like whenever you're an employee, a W-2 employee, and they take taxes out every week, and then at the end of the year, you file your taxes with the IRS, and you find out, whether you've overpaid or underpaid, whether you have to pay more or you get a refund. That's what it's like with fuel taxes on these trucks. Whenever you're paying taxes at the pump, you're prepaying your taxes. And then every quarter, you have to get even with the federal government and they calculate how much taxes you owe based off miles driven in each state and whether or not you overpaid or underpaid, and you either have to pay more in or you get a refund. All right. This is not my exit. That's 111 south. I want to go 111 north. Looks like a 20-mile-per-hour on ramp. 25-mile-per-hour on ramp. God, the inside of the truck still reeks. I'm gonna have to bust out the Febreze and air this truck out to get this stink out of the truck. And I'm gonna have to bust out some wet wipes and wipe down all the surfaces of everything because everything is covered in dust. It looks like a cop's got himself somebody pulled over up here. Or it's construction, I don't know. I've got 2 cars passing me right now. I'm going to wait till the second one gets around me, then I'm going to move over. Yeah, that's really smart, you moron. Cars passing on the right and going right alongside that cop. That's illegal. There's a couple of cops here, and there were people standing on the right side of the vehicle talking, and there's people standing on the right side of this vehicle talking. Maybe there was an accident between 2 different vehicles. I didn't see a second vehicle that was pulled over. So no idea what was going on there. I apologize, the video sucks. I'm poor, and this is the camera that I have. My main phone has a much better camera, but I ruined the stabilizer on it recording so much driving footage. So if I were to try to record while I'm driving with that one, the phone would be bouncing around so much you wouldn't be able to see anything. Probably get motion sickness trying to watch it. And the stabilizer is starting to go out on this one. So I need to find a new camera. But I don't have a lot of expendable income, or at least money that I can justify spending on a camera. We got 13 miles until we get to the Pilot Flying J. And it is just a tiny little Pilot Flying J. I don't even know if I'm going to pull into the truck stop because you can see all the parking spots from out here. So I should be able to see whether or not they have any open spots. I'm going to roll the windows down for a second. That'll be really nice to air out the truck while I'm driving. Because down here in this area, there's no precipitation and no wind. So there's almost no air circulation. There's no precipitation to clean off the roadways or the surfaces or anything. It's just a desert. I don't want to be down here for very long. I'm hoping to find a load and get moving. I've had some agents harassing me to move loads, calling and texting, trying to get me to haul cheap loads. There was a load picking up yesterday, Saturday, that some agent was trying to get me to take. It was some cheap load paying $247 a mile going to Pennsylvania that picked up at like 1 p.m. on Saturday in Redlands, California. And 247 a mile, let me explain that, because some people are sitting there thinking, oh, 247 a mile is awesome. That's the full rate. That's what the customer pays. Most truck drivers, most owner operators have no idea what the customer pays for the load. That's one of the reasons I lease to Landstar, the transparency. Everybody, Landstar, the agent, and myself, we all get a fixed percentage. It's a non-negotiable fixed percentage of the load, and all three of us know exactly what the customer is paying. There have been times when agents have lied so that they could pocket more money on the load, but those agents, whenever Landstar finds out that they're doing that, they terminate their contracts and ban them for life. So, yeah, 247 a mile is what the customer's paying. I get approximately 70% of that. I get 65% of the line haul and 100% of the fuel surcharge, which usually comes out to somewhere in the ballpark of like 70%. So that puts us at like at what, $1.77, $1.78 a mile. That's not very good. I don't like hauling freight for less than $2 a mile gross to the truck. And that's kind of like my minimum threshold. I normally don't haul loads anywhere close to that. I don't like operating at my minimums. So I normally run at like 250 plus a mile gross to the truck. Let's roll the windows down again. Get some more of this stink out of here. All right, we got 8.7 miles. And then the Love's truck stop is only, I don't know, I would guess another 5 miles past the Pilot Flying J. And when I went past the Love's truck stops early Saturday morning, it had several spots available. So I don't think I'm going to find a spot at Pilot Flying J, but I'm confident that there will be a spot at the Love's. The Love's has a pretty big parking lot for a Love's. So if you did not watch the load board video where I booked the load going down to Heber, Kent, Washington to Heber, California, 1,350 miles, $4.90 a mile, $6,500. That's the full rate. That's what the customer pays. I get approximately 70% of that. So I made about $4,500 on the load. It was a 2-day load. So about $2,000 a day. That's pretty good money. It cost me about $600 in fuel. The only thing that really sucked about that load was going to pick it up because I was in Aurora, Oregon, just south of Portland, and I booked the load at like 9 a.m. I ended up leaving at about 10 a.m., and I got to the shipper at about 2 p.m. 200 miles driving from Portland to Seattle, and it was bumper to bumper traffic the entire drive. Luckily, there were no accidents. So there were quite a few slowdowns, but there was no stopped traffic. Well, there was like slowdowns to the point where you'd stop for a couple of seconds and then go again, but nothing that was just like parked for, several seconds or minutes and traffic's just barely inching forward. No, we didn't deal with any of that. But that's the only part of the drive that really sucked was the 200 miles from Portland to Seattle. And it never, like, the traffic never lightened up. It was bumper to bumper the entire drive. But that was the day before the holiday. That was the day before Thanksgiving. 5.7 miles. I'm hoping to get out of this area pretty quick. I don't like being down here in the south because my air conditioner doesn't work on my APU. So if I needed air conditioning, I have to run the main engine, which gets really expensive. It's about somewhere in the ballpark of like 15 gallons a day to run the main engine, to idle the main engine. At like $3 a gallon, it's $45 a day to idle the main engine. Somewhere between like 45 and $60 a day to idle the main engine. So I've just been rolling the windows down, and I have a fan that I run in the truck. Without that fan, it's intolerable in the truck. But with the fan, it makes it tolerable to where I don't have to run the air conditioner. It's getting the highs, the daily highs are around 75 degrees. And yesterday, the hottest it got to in the truck was 90 degrees. With it 75 degrees outside, the windows rolled down, and a fan going, it was 90 degrees in the sleeper. With the fan blowing on me, though, it made it tolerable. If I didn't have that fan going, moving air, it would have gotten well in excess of 100 degrees inside the truck. The greenhouse effect on this in this truck is just really, really, really bad. With any direct sunlight on the truck, it will get much hotter than whatever the outside temperature is. I've been in places where it was 30 degrees outside, and I've had to roll the windows down because of how hot it was in the truck. It was getting up to like 80 degrees inside the truck because the sun was shining straight in on the truck. So I always try to park facing north to reduce the amount of sunlight coming in through the front windshield, because that is the main source of heat whenever the sun is out. Unfortunately, there is no way to park facing north at this Pilot Flying J, and the only way to park facing north at the Love's truck stop is to nose into a spot. And I don't mind nosing into a spot. I actually love nosing into a spot. It's awesome if you can find a safe place to do it. It has to be, one of those parking spots where it's just wide open behind you, where it's a straight back for quite a ways. And then even then, you have to be very, very careful whenever you're backing out because you can't see anything when you're backing out. So you're putting a lot of trust in the people around you that they see what you're doing and nobody's going to run into you while you're backing out. But aside from it being very dangerous to back out, everything else about nosing in is amazing. When you're nosed in and you have a dry van on either side of you, they block a lot of sunlight and they block a lot of noise. It's really quiet. It's really nice and shaded. Like, it is awesome. Nosing in is amazing. I love nosing in, but I don't do it very often because it's really hard to find a spot that's safe to nose into. 1.2 miles. So that light up there, that's where the truck stop's at. It's over on the left. So I don't see any headlights. Oh, I see headlights behind me. There's some. They're about a mile back. So I'm going to get into the left lane and see how much of this parking lot that I can see. And I might pull in there if I'm not certain that there's not a spot available. In a quarter mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn. Somebody's got their lights on, so somebody might have just pulled in or they're about to pull out. We're going to go ahead and get into the turn lane. Because it looks like there might maybe be somebody about to pull out. Oh my goodness, there are spots. There are multiple spots. Oh my goodness, this is a surprise. I honestly thought that there would be no spots. I was like 95% certain that there would be no spots available. So this is a really awesome surprise. Now let's see how tight the parking lot is, because this parking lot is set up to where you basically have to do a blind side back. You have to come in. Oh yeah, that person that had their lights on is pulling out of the parking lot right now. You have to come in like you're setting up for a blind side back, and there's not enough room to turn around to set up for a sight side back. So you either have to do a blind side or you have to be able to jackknife the truck and do a U-turn to where you can set up for a sight side. And I'm hoping there's enough room that you can do a sight side back, that you can flip it around. Oh, this is awesome. There's several spots. In 800 feet, make a U-turn. Wow, you have to drive through the fuel island to get in and out of here? Or is there another entrance somewhere that I'm not seeing? There's somebody parked in the only way to exit the truck parking area. There's one little lane next to the building. Oh, there it is. Truck entry exit. So, okay, there's a spot right there. There's somebody else leaving. And there's somebody else with their lights on that looks like they might be leaving. Looks like there's plenty of room to flip the truck to do a sight side back. But there's not really enough room to safely nose in. All right, we're going to get in between these two trucks. This is tighter than I initially thought it was. Uh, I'm set up decent, but no. Let's redo this a little bit. I needed to go a couple of feet more. I could have made it work right there, but it would have not been pretty. We're set up almost perfect for this spot, but not quite. Now let's give it a shot. See what we got. See what we're working with. Oh, this is perfect. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of a pull up, but not much. All right, we got it. We got it. Looking like I know what I'm doing out here. I don't care what people think about me. If I do a whole bunch of resets or pull ups or anything like that, or getting out and looking, I have like I have not a single care in the world if somebody thinks I'm bad at backing because I get out and look or I do pull ups or anything like that. Not a single care in the world because people can sit out there and mock you and snicker at you and stuff like that. But as soon as you get parked in the parking spot and you don't hit anything, that's it. It's over with. And then they're going to walk off and forget about you. But if you try to impress some super trucker out here by backing up without doing a pull up or anything like that, or getting out and looking, and you hit something, you're probably going to make it onto YouTube. You're going to make it onto social media, and they're going to sit there and talk shit about you and all kinds of stuff. Why didn't you get out and look? The same people that will sit there and be like, yeah, you're a bad driver if you have to get out and look, are the same people that if you hit something, they're the first ones that are going to go, why didn't you get out and look? So, yeah, I didn't need to get out and look in this spot because it was basically the trailer was, if I'm backing in at an angle to where I can't see what's on my blind side, I always get out and look. But in this particular spot, it was such a straight back that I was able to easily see what was on my blind side. So this is awesome. This is absolutely amazing. Let's get the windows rolled down. It's kind of cold outside. It's like 50 degrees outside, but it's going to get up to 75 today. So we're going to get the windows rolled down and let it stay cool in the truck for as long as possible. And we are going to have to deal with the sun. There's going to be a lot of sun in the evening coming in through this front windshield. That's going to suck, but we're just going to have to deal with it. Something I've been thinking about doing is trying to find some type of like canvas or something that I could strap. Um, like what I could do, let me take the phone out right here. What I was thinking of is like I could strap to the mirrors some kind of canvas up here at the top and take it up over. Let me get out of the truck. Let's go ahead and turn the truck off. So I could strap it to the top of the mirror and the bottom of the mirror and run it over top of the little rain deflector or whatever the hell that thing is. And that would block sunlight through the main windshield, through the front windshield. I have a foil sunscreen thing that I can put across the windshield. And I'm trying not to be too loud because I'm sure the people parked next to me. Let me walk away from the truck to talk because I don't like to be the asshole that's standing next to somebody's sleeper talking while they're trying to sleep. But the problem with the sunscreen on the inside is that it still produces heat inside the truck. If I can block the sun before it gets inside the truck, then it won't produce that heat inside the truck. I'm still going to have the greenhouse effect from all the sun on top of the sleeper and everywhere else, but the windshield is the main problem. So I might look into getting some kind of canvas. I should measure it. I should get my measuring tape out and measure it, and that way when I go home, I do have a tarp at home. I don't know if I want to deal with a tarp because tarps make so much noise when the wind's hitting them. I would probably prefer a canvas material. But and it would have to be something that does not absorb water, because when I took it down and put it in the truck, if it was soaking wet, that would be a pain to deal with. I could potentially put some kind of storage back here, maybe. Oh wow, this camera sucks in low light. You can't even see what I'm looking at. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and end the video there. There's no stink here. It's all nice pavement, no dirt. But the entire area looks dusty. You can't see it in this camera because it's so bad, but when I look out there along those lights off in the distance, it looks like a fog, and it's not foggy. I'm pretty sure that's dust. And all these trucks have dust all over them. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but every truck is covered in dust. I think that's just this area because it's so dry here. They get so little precipitation. There's just constant dust. Luckily, it's not very windy here. The wind doesn't get over like 7 miles per hour. But anyway, let's wrap this video up, and hopefully I can find a load in the next few days to get out of here. I'm not looking to go any place in particular. So if there's a decent load headed to the house, then I'll head to the house. And if there is um, a good load going somewhere else, then that's where I'll go. So we'll just have to see what the load board provides. And hopefully we get out of here pretty soon. There is a load on the board that's going next to the house, but it's a spot market load, and it's been there for like a week. I don't even know if that load's still available. What happens on those spot market loads is that they get booked, and the agents don't bother to take them down because they have to call the originating broker on the spot market to get the status of the load, to get an update on whether or not the load's still available. So until somebody calls and tries to book the load, they're not going to call and see if that load's still available. So you could call and try to book the load, and they'll be like, all right, let me call and check. I'll call you back, or I'll put you on hold. And then they'll come back and be like, yeah, that load's not available anymore. Or somebody else booked it, but they'll give it to you if you'll do it for, 50 cents a mile less than what it's posted at. I don't like dealing with spot market loads because of crap like that. Wendy's. Oh my goodness. So I ate at Wendy's a few days ago, and I don't like breakfast. And I thought that there was a burger on the breakfast menu. There was a Baconator breakfast burger, and I thought it was a regular burger, and it wasn't. But it was really good. It was like a bacon cheeseburger that had an egg on it, and it was really good. So I think I might get one of those this morning. But I'm going to get into the truck before people start freaking out. Down here in the South, if it gets to like 60 degrees, people will be walking around in huge coats like it's negative 50 outside. People will have like their faces covered up and stuff like that. Like these people are used to really hot temperatures. I'm out here in shorts and a t-shirt and it's nice and comfortable. It's like 50 degrees. I try to keep it 60 degrees inside the truck. So whenever I walk around outside when it's like 40 and 50 degrees and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, everybody walking around bundled up is like looking at me weird, like I'm some kind of weirdo or something. And I'm thinking that they're a weirdo bundled up when it's 50 degrees outside. But let's get back in the truck. So hope you're having a great weekend. And maybe one of these days I'll get a better camera when I get some more money. All right, bye.